There is no meme. Die.
Welcome back. Today we are going to be taking a brief look at the R-27 ET, which is new, and I'll also be taking mainly the look here at R-73s and their low speed capabilities when it comes to a dogfight. Now, I don't want to overblow it, so there are going to be some caveats to this video, but mainly I want to show the absolute stupid maneuverability these missiles have. I do want to digress, however, that the SMT is a bit of a boat right now, and it should absolutely not be able to win dogfights versus the F-16C, even with the R-73. So keep that in mind, this is purely for the maneuverability of the missiles. So, we get set on fire. He is kind of in front of us, but he's going to be pulling up. We have no tail control, we can't really maneuver, but we have an HMD. Second shot here, he is already basically behind us, and the missile does a straight up 180. Now, I don't want to scare you all in saying, well, this missile is bullshit and it has no place in the game. It's definitely going to be the best IR missile that we have in the game currently, especially for these kind of speeds. But keep in mind, as you can tell, if you flare properly, most of the time this missile will not hit. However, when you are at these super low speeds, you are actually not going to be able to get out of the missile seeker basically. It has a super low FOV, which makes it so that the missile basically only looks at a very small segment of the seeker. It's basically like having tunnel vision. The FOV is in the end not the only reason why the R-73 is good at resisting the flares. There are a few other reasons as of why, but I don't really understand the files and the data. This is what they told me. I'm inclined to believe them because that's also what I experienced. So they are good at resisting flares. As of for why, I'm not the person to ask. Of course, keep in mind the test that we are doing right here is mostly to look at the maneuverability. So if you don't see any flares popped, it's to test the maneuverability mainly here. And we're just trying to see what we can pull off in these kind of dogfights. And just like right there, it almost pulls in, starts flying in formation. If you had a little bit more separation, it would have hit. The thing about these missiles is, essentially, if you think to yourself, is the R-60M going to hit it? If you are doubting yourself, it's going to hit. If you think to yourself with the R-73, is it going to hit it? And you have enough separation, that's the main thing here. If there is enough separation, these missiles will almost always connect. Granted, your enemy doesn't flare. The flares do work versus them. They aren't as stupid as they were on the previous dev server, the one that we had like 6 months ago. And I have said before that flares on dev servers are a bit worse. I have no source for it, so I'd like to just retract the statement altogether. The FOV is still super low, and it will definitely give it advantages when it comes to the flare resistance. However, I don't think it's gonna be super game breaking, but at the end of the day, I still don't think that we need a plane with the best IR missile together with the best radar missile. Because when we look at the R-27 ER, this thing also gets a better radar, so now it's no contest, it will be the best radar missile. Of course it only has 2. It's not gonna be as stupid as carrying 6 of them. But the R-27 ERs are extremely good. And we are gonna be taking a quick glance at the R-27 ET later here. But as of right now, they don't feel that incredible. They are pretty easily flareable, and I mean, that's really it. It's an IR missile, it has stupendous range, it's probably gonna slam you across the map if you aren't careful of it. The issue is, if you shoot it from very far away, where you're trying to sneak in a missile shot, you kind of run into the problem where you have too much time in the air, and there's a very big probability that people are going to randomly flare it by accident, because in like a 30-second window, there is a chance that someone just pops a singular flare. So as of right now, it might have a little bit of a niche use, maybe in a carry situation where you can kind of shoot it from like a weird angle. But other than that, I don't think that the ET is worth it over the R-27 ER. And I'm a very big IR person. I don't really enjoy radar missiles that much. I much rather prefer something like an R-24T, R-27T. And if you've seen my videos, I use those all the time. But I think with the R-27 ET, maybe I still have to find a niche for it. But as of right now, I don't think it's going to be that incredible. But back to the R-73. And the HMD, as well as the F-16C versus the SMT lineup here. The F-16C definitely still wins the dogfight. And the thing is, and this is the missile I wanted to show you, he's flaring, he's going super slow, he's cutting afterburner, but at a super low speed, if the heat signature is enough, the flares are not gonna do you that much good. But of course, this is in very slow, sustained, very close range dogfights, which are probably not gonna happen that often. And the F-16 still has the better dogfighting capabilities, and if it does pre-flare when it knows that you're about to get a lock, it will set off the missile. Because you can see when you are locking people up, the lock circle, the seeker head basically, is pretty big. The FOV is pretty big, which means that it's going to pick up your flares and it is going to be distracted. It also gets distracted by the sun very easily if you are in that mode. However, the second it comes off the rail, if you have some separation and your enemy doesn't flare properly, just like here, it's just going to connect. If you see the R-73 launch in a weird aspect and you think to yourself, there is no way that's going to hit, you need to flare basically instantly. You want to make sure that you aren't going to be flaring too late, because the second this missile gets close enough, it's not going to do anything. The second the missile gets within like 600 to 700 meters, it's looking directly at you, it's flying directly at you, and you're not going quick enough, you're done. And just like the shot right here, it just kind of lofts over and it instantly slams him out of the air. Now this is a live match and I have a few guys riding my 6, so I'm just going to be shooting my missiles off and I'm just kind of sending it. I have streamed this game, I've streamed the entire dev server. I was playing like absolute shit, so don't worry about that too much. But it's mostly about the fact that we are testing the capabilities of the plane. Now I have 2 guys on my 6 here, as well as the MiG-29 coming in from the other side. So we are going to make sure that we reverse these guys and try to kill all 3 of them. Is it gonna work? Maybe, maybe not. We will be able to tell once the clip has finished. 2 missiles come by, so we just kind of turn in. And here comes the HMD of the R-73. Who do I focus? Of course the MiG-29. He's going slow, he's the hottest target here. And he is going to be flaring, and as you can tell, it just keeps on tracking. It does not give a shit, and that's because he didn't cut its afterburners. This is a flare resistant missile, so if you are not playing it properly, if you are making mistakes, this missile is going to be connecting. But that's also the case with something like an AIM-9L. So in that kind of sense, it's not really new. The F-16C also gets an HMD, but the AIM-9L does not get the low speed properties that something like an R-73 will. The R-73 will have a narrower FOV, making it more flare resistant. But at the end of the day, the SMT is also not what you are used to. The SMT is a good bit heavier, turns worse, race worse, and it's just worse at dogfighting in general. It will lose a lot more matchups than the regular one that we already have in the game. And I think that is kind of fair, because otherwise we would have a MiG-29 flight model, which is the best for RRB. Sure, it might lose a dogfight to an F-16, but other than that, for the average game, the MiG-29 does have a better flight model. And then it would already also have the R-73, which would be the best IR, and then also the 27ER, which is the best radar missile, basically turning this plane into a powerhouse in every category. So it is kind of balanced in that kind of sense, but at the end of the day, I think we needed neither of these additions. And we needed to fill the other nations out so that the other nations can play some vehicles as well, instead of being forced to play the same 3 vehicles at top tier. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.